My dad disfigured me and refuses to address it. I accidentally make his fiancé leave him. Am I the a-hole? I'm honestly shocked and in pieces right now. I, 17F, was recently staying at my dad's after school broke up. He lives in the countryside and has a farm which I grew up on. My parents divorced when I was 10 and we moved away. As a child, 6 years oldish, I was out with my dad as he worked. I was running around and I tripped on something, causing me to fall down and land chin first against a jagged concrete wall. Immediately, blood poured from my mouth and I lost 3 baby teeth. The pain was immense. I can still picture it clearly to this day, although somehow my chin was not split open. I remember feeling like my chin bones were pulled apart and misaligned around my jaw. I was obviously screaming and crying, and my dad hears me and comes towards me. He tells me to shut up and he stands behind me. He takes each hand on either side of my jaw, yanking my jawbones, causing more and more pain, until he looked and thought my face looked normal again. He told me not to tell my mum, who was abroad with an ill family member for around a month at this time. It is a miracle to me that my adult teeth grew in straight, and I don't have an underbite or an overbite. But cosmetically, the lack of medical attention had dire consequences. My chin is disfigured. If I'd been to hospital, then maybe they would have x-rayed me and made sure I wouldn't grow up to be unsatisfied with my appearance. Half of my chin is lopsided and jagged, and half is round, and I get constant jaw pain. My jaw has bruxism, and I'm considering masseter Botox and even cosmetic surgery to correct it, as it's become so much of a problem for me as I grow older, causing teasing, insecurity and low confidence. I more recently told my mum of my concerns, and she was horrified to learn what really happened, as she never knew the whole story, and this just made me more angry with my dad. She called him and I had to de-escalate the situation. She was yelling all the same old about how he's a bad father, and even threw in words like abuse and neglect. She demanded to him to pay for plastic surgery for me, something I'm not even sure of yet, and a whole load more angry words. I was angry at her reaction. Him and her have been divorced for many years, and I feel like this is something between me and my dad since I'm older now. I would rather they not fight like they used to. Life has moved on. Anyways, when I stayed down at his recently, he brought it up and was under the impression that I wanted to get plastic surgery as soon as possible. He told me I was being vain and only bimbos get plastic surgery. Then he said he would not pay for it since it was in the past and he never did anything to me. I protested and said I never wanted him to pay for anything. I have a job and I have savings, so if I decided to, I could afford something to be done in the future. Then he asked me if I was angry with him. I said no, because I've learned to move on with my life. He made many mistakes through my childhood, but he's still my dad and does his best at the end of the day. But secretly, I do have some sort of resentment underneath. On to last weekend of my week at my dad's. Around a month ago, my dad's fiancé, who is a wonderful and caring woman by all regards, pulled me aside and was asking me things about my childhood. She knows that things were a little rough sometimes. She knows that my dad was not an attentive father, but probably nothing in depth. She told me that after my mum called my dad and the yelling argument happened, my dad told her what happened when I was a child and she was astounded. She told me that that was a disgusting and neglectful thing of him to do, and since then she hasn't been able to look at him in the same way. She's been thinking of him more deeply as a person and wanted to know more information about him before he met her. I was taken aback, but since she is a lovely, warm and friendly woman, I sort of just vented and told her things that I even struggle talking about. She was really kind and told me the whole, "you didn't deserve that," which I know, and I don't get actively bothered by my childhood experiences anymore. The next morning, I take the train back up country to my mum's house. Anyway, last night I was completing coursework for my A-levels. I get a call from my dad and he is livid. I've never heard such a combination of anger and absolute despondence. He yelled at me that I'd ruined his life and that me and my mum were scheming bitches who's ruined his life year after year. He said that I couldn't be happy for him and that his life is now ruined. I obviously asked him what on earth he was talking about, and he told me that his fiancée had changed her mind and that she wasn't going to marry him anymore. She cancelled the wedding, which was scheduled for next year. I started crying, genuinely, because she is a lovely woman and I was happy that he was with someone who fit him perfectly. And she was seemingly happy with him too. They even talked of having another child, which I was also very happy for them for. As an only child, a baby sibling would be amazing. He yelled at me and argued at me, calling me things like an attention seeker and a vengeful bitch. He also told me he was glad my face was messed up and I should have just stopped crying over it. He said that looking this way was my punishment for being self-absorbed. All I could do was cry. I'm honestly in such a terrible state right now. The relationship with my dad has been rocky, but for the past 5 or so years, it had been getting much better. And now I feel like everything has gone down the drain, wasted. This year will be tough on me. A-levels, university applications, my work, and regardless, I just want to have a good relationship with him. I never meant to make his fiancé leave him, I honestly didn't. But I put my foot in it, clearly. I haven't gotten out of bed all day. I can't stop crying over how badly I messed up. And I don't even want to tell my mum about it. She would make it worse by calling him and yelling at him more. So, am I the a-hole for bringing up old skeletons from the closet? Obviously, our understanding of what happened is based entirely on how well OP can describe it. With that in mind, I feel like he just did what he thought was right. Granted, a more responsible person would just take you to the hospital regardless, but I can't see why someone would be so shocked and angry by this that they would reevaluate their entire opinion of him. OP needs to speak with the fiancé again and find out the root of the problem here. Dad really doesn't deserve this. Maybe I'm being too lenient though. Let me know what you think in the comments. My boyfriend peed the bed and is mad at me for my response. Am I the a-hole? My boyfriend, male 27, and I, female 23, just moved into a new house and bought a new mattress. Last night, I woke up to a wet feeling under my arm and hand. My boyfriend was already up and in the bathroom. When he came back, I asked him if he spilled something in the bed or knew why it was wet. He told me that he thinks he peed the bed. I asked him again and said, "Wait, are you serious?" And he said, "I think I peed in my dream and peed in real life." That's how it gets you. We are both half awake at this point, and I'm just surprised he actually did wet the bed. I asked him to go grab stuff to clean it up, and he told me that it was fine. I asked him what he meant by that, and he grabbed a towel, laid it over the wet spot, and got back into bed to go to sleep. I pulled the covers off him and told him that he needs to go grab stuff to clean it up, because I don't want it to get stained, and it's a new mattress. We don't even have a mattress cover for it yet. He told me that it was fine and I'm overreacting. That statement naturally pissed me off, and I told him that I'm not going to sleep in his piss, and that it's not fair to me. He told me that he'd clean it in the morning and that it's not a big deal and doesn't warrant the reaction I'm having. That was not the solution I wanted, so I took all the sheets off the bed and threw them at him and told him to sleep on the couch. It was very irritating to hear him tell me that I'm overreacting because I asked him to clean up his piss in the bed we both sleep in. He then knocked on the door 10 minutes later, asking for a new blanket because the one I gave him smelled like pee. That can't be real. So am I the a-hole for overreacting to my boyfriend for not cleaning up the pee in the bed right away? No, I definitely don't think you overreacted. You can't control it, and I think you were compassionate about that, but to expect you to sleep on it with him?
Hell no, motherfuckers!
If this is the first time you've lived with him though, you should quickly establish whether this is something that happens often. Based on his attitude about it, I'd guess that maybe it does. I for one would be absolutely mortified if that happened. There is an update on this post though, so let's tackle that one now. First off, I wish it was fake, I really do, but I wake up yesterday to piss in the bed and ended up arguing with my boyfriend. My boyfriend and I have only lived together in small stints here and there before, but this is the first time we have our own house, just us. No, he doesn't have a drug or alcohol problem, diabetes, take meds, and he wasn't drinking that night. He just worked an overnight shift the previous night and he was pretty tired. He's never done this before since we've been together, so that's why I didn't believe him at first. And we don't have a lot of money right now, so the mattress we have was just one from Walmart for $300. We both ended up cleaning the piss because the couch isn't that big and I couldn't be bothered to move to the couch myself. I was tired and wasn't thinking that part through entirely. Also, he's not a horrible abusive boyfriend or have a fetish, etc., like some of the comments have said. Trust Reddit to call someone wetting the bed exercising their fetish. And I didn't throw him out of the house. He was truly half awake and was just not responsive the way he needed to be after peeing in our bed. Anyways, he got back from work today with flowers and my favourite ice cream. He told me he was thinking about what happened last night all day and he was really sorry. He apologised for dismissing me and that he was disrespectful. I told him that the only issue I had with the situation was him telling me that I was overreacting for me wanting him to clean up the piss at that moment. That wasn't fair to me and expect me to be okay with sleeping in his piss. Let me be clear, I understand accidents happen, but to sit there and tell me my response to needing it cleaned as soon as possible is unwarranted is insane. I appreciate the gesture, and I did read what you guys said. He doesn't have any underlying trauma or alcoholic issues. He just peed the bed by accident. I wasn't shaming him for peeing the bed. I was mad at his response. I'm trying to be understanding that he was just tired and wanted to go back to bed, but at the same time, this affects both of us. I just needed him to be responsible and acknowledge that what I said was valid and he needs to grow up. He did order a mattress cover that will be here tomorrow. So until that's on the mattress, I don't want him in the bed with me. I think making him sleep with those sheets and blankets did jolt him awake and realise the gravity of the situation. I'm still a bit hurt from how he handled the situation selfishly and was inconsiderate, but he seems pretty remorseful, so we'll see how we both feel later. That's it for now. Thanks for your advice. One very important life lesson here. Never use the dream toilet. That's it for today. Thank you very much for making it this far. Please leave a comment if either of those stories really got your attention. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.